Gonna make sure that this is working, as one often does. I don't know which one is live, if it's one, if it's both, or if it's neither. That's why we're about to find out once I open this up and find out. Hold on. Is it only the shorts version? Looks like it's only shorts. Which is, you know what? It is what it is. If it's only shorts, it's only shorts today. Although it really shouldn't be. It should be both. I don't know. We're going to see how this goes. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy. It is Philip White. I am back with another episode of Free Refill. Episode number 48 today. So, big one. Another big one as we go. We got a lot of things to get into on a Monday. First of all, I want to say happy March. Missed you guys on the first of the month, so I couldn't wake you up. But it is now the 2nd of March. We are already, 2 months already down in 2026's. I mean, it happens every time, right? It's the yearly cycle of January takes forever, and then February somehow is so short, despite the fact that it's only a 3-day difference. It's every time. It happens every time. And yet, here we are. So, today I have some interesting stuff to go over. Well, first, I will also say one thing. I have had a long day of talking, so I'm actually more excited to talk about this because I was at, for work, we were having a customer appreciation day, and I was the greeter. I had a lot of talking to do today. I was yapping up a storm. But I'm ready now to yap up some more sports stuff. I've got some big things that we got to get into. First one being, we've got, as one may imagine, a Bleacher Report list that I got sent this by one of our viewers, Jay. Jay sent this out to me. I have read this. To those who don't know, this list that I have read it previously. Not read it deeply, but like skimmed it and had like my initial thoughts. And today I'm going to be diving into it deeper. It is the top 99 quarterbacks in NFL history. Now, apparently, they make this list every year, every other year, because there are previous rankings in it. Like, if you go to any quarterback on the list, you will see that there is a ranking for their highest ranking ever and their lowest ranking ever on the list, and it varies. It clearly varies between each and every year. So that's a thing. That's a thing that exists. But in regards to, I guess, all of that, the reality is we gotta find out, did Bleacher Report get it right? Or did Bleacher Report absolutely screw it up and get it wrong? So, I'm about to find out. Oh, Jay saying this is a joke going up. I also have to find out, and this is unfortunate, I just found this out now, I can only read comments from YouTube Shorts with my actual phone. So it's just a complete, like, this is the way I'm going to have to do it. Because for whatever reason, I don't have a UI to get it set up here. So, you know what? We're just going to do it this way. And I'm going to be watching my own stream. Whatever. This is how it is. So, starting off, this was the... I've said this. So, this is a joke going up. So, I don't know. Should we start... Here's the question, guys. Should we start the list as, say, going from 99 to 1, or should we start from 1 to 99? I'm wondering if there is a better way to do this. I'm trying to figure out what is the best way. If we're thinking, should we start from the lowest of the low of the top 99? And we don't want, also, on a separate note, kind of off, not really off topic, but kind of annoys me. Why is it 99? Why is it not just 100 or 101, right? Because you're clearly trying to, like, are you trying to exclude the 100th guy? Do you just, like, is it Ryan Fitzpatrick and you just secretly don't want to admit it? Like, that's what I'm curious to see. I skimmed this list. I do think it's bad. Most stuff that Bleacher Report makes in general is bad. That's kind of the idea. It's not really meant to be good. It's been bad all the time. But I will say, I have my own. I've seen some of my own takes. I'm interested. I think what we'll do is we'll start from 1 to 99 because I don't understand why. Because I feel like 1 is going to be obvious. Like I'm just looking at it right now. Unfortunately, I can't really show it with the settings that I have. I probably can. Let me see if I can actually do that on this. Let me go this. Hold on. Maybe I can. I'm gonna try this real quick. Do and do. Okay, I can make this work. I can make this work. Hold on. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there fairly easily. We're gonna get there quickly, and then. All right. We're gonna get there. Hold up. I wonder also because I have to do this like twice because I have the other stream for it, but it should be fine. You know what? Hold on. Dang it! You know what? Forget it. I'm gonna forget it. I'm gonna be able to just. Number 1 though is kind of ridiculous. No, I never mind. I can do this. I can do this for sure. This is possible. I'm gonna believe in myself. It's annoying that like I can't do it. All right. I'll just make my cam bigger, I guess. I don't know why I'm not low. All right, fine. Number 1, Tom Brady. That kind of makes sense. That's pretty obvious. I'm not gonna argue with that one. I mean, is it? There's not an early argument for Tom at 1. I'm not really gonna try to argue for that. Number 2 was Joe. I slightly argue against Joe a little bit. I would personally make the case that it's Peyton, but I mean Peyton's probably going to be 3, which I'm pretty sure he is. Yeah, Peyton's at 3. There's a lot of people basically have that exact trio, so I'm not gonna sit here and claim one way or the other. It's probably. It's give or take the right list. It doesn't change that much significantly. I would say Peyton's at 3. Number 4 being Mahomes is interesting. I mean, it also makes sense. I think Mahomes is at 5. I would say Mahomes is 5 below. Personally, I would say like Elway. No, Elway can't be 4. Elway can't be 4, no? I mean, I get it. He's won a lot of Super Bowls. It's just the recency bias it plays large here. I think it plays very large in Mahomes being this high. Mahomes there at 4, though. I don't disagree. It makes sense. I would say then there's Rodgers 5. Rodgers 5 I would personally say Rodgers, and a lot of people will hot take me on this. I think Rodgers is higher than I would take Rodgers over Favre and Starr fairly easily. I'm surprised I guess I'm not surprised he's 5. I'm just surprised. I think a lot of people always want to hype up Elway. When I hear people talking about these lists, I always hear Elway should be much higher, and Elway's not. But I mean, it's really hard for the top 10 because you can put a lot of these guys in the same order because you're dictating what matters, right? For these higher level lists, like Elway being at 6, well, he has more championships than Rodgers. But Rodgers, of course, has, the higher level of MVPs and is 4 to his 1, right? You look like, completion percent. Like, Elway is a 56% completion percentage. Like, it's not above even 60. So we're sitting there having like this, and again, it's different eras too. So when talking about the top 10, like what? It's Favre, yeah. Favre, then Drew Brees. I don't like that. I don't like that Drew's lower than Favre. I think Drew's better. I think Drew is better. Both, and the reason why, Drew's numbers are much higher. Drew's stats are much cleaner. Drew has, basically the same numbers. He's a Super Bowl MVP. Favre doesn't. Favre has multiple MVPs, but I can make the case that Drew Brees should have multiple MVPs. He just competed in, Drew was always so consistent. Drew Brees has the most 5,000-yard passing seasons, right? So the fact that he doesn't have an MVP is mostly, to me, just a crime. The reality is, I think Drew's a better quarterback. I think if you ask most people who you'd rather have, Drew Brees or Brett Favre, most people are saying Drew Brees. So I don't get why Drew is... What's the highest? Drew's been ranked highest 5. Favre's highest ranking has been 6. Yeah. Like that. Not that they're 5 and 6, but I think Breeze is higher than Favre. Like, Favre's interceptions just don't do it for me. Like, when you talk about Favre, people don't remember... Like, I don't remember Favre's clutch moments. I remember his chokes. Like, everybody remembers chokes. Like, I'm talking his throw versus the New York Giants. To lose at home in Lambeau, and then the throw to lose to Drew Brees. Like, ugh. And then the same thing is like versus Drew Brees, who went to what is considered a bad organization in the New Orleans Saints and being able to turn them around, win them a Super Bowl, even in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, versus Favre, who went to an organization that was already very consistent and very good. Like, fairly prestigious organization. Like, man, I don't know what to tell you. That's just what it is. And there's not much more to say outside of that. That's what it is, though. So, So Drew at 8, fine. Young at 9. Why is Steve Young at 9? Am I crazy? Do I think that I've always... Because this is like... Steve Young to me, I always remember having like a short shelf life, though. I don't remember Steve Young lasting as long as he did. Like at 9 over Marino? Like, we really gonna sit here and say Young's better than Marino right now? Okay, fine. I mean, say what you want, but I'd take Dan. I'd take the no-time champion, but Dan Marino, who was the best pure passer in football at the time, before I'm taking Steve Young. I'm sorry. I would take Marino over him. Oh, shoot. And Johnny Unitas, I can't talk much about like the old dudes. I've always felt that they have a certain place of respect, but at a certain point, it gets off that. Jay saying not top 10, crazy who they got above him. Like, that's to me is nuts. I don't know why they got Johnny Unitas at 11. Like, I get it, because he's, like, old. Like, it's an older quarterback, but still, like, when we talk about Johnny Unitas, you're talking about, like, the first real GOAT of the sport. I'm a little shocked he's that low. I'm shocked I don't have anybody here that was even before the 80s. I don't think they do. Everybody here is past the 80s. Elway's drafted in 83. Yeah, Peyton, Joe. Was Joe 80? Joe was drafted in the 80s, right? He had to have been. Yeah, because they were like more the 80s. That like Unitas like the first 60s quarterback. They actually have him on before any 70s quarterbacks, which is interesting. Yeah, John Unitas 11. Otto Graham 12. Overrated. In my opinion, overrated, but fine. I mean, it is what it is. I just, again, I mean, what was this? The 40s? Guys, come on. I know we have to include it, but again, it's the same argument as like the NBA. Like, you're talking about, you're playing against plumbers, you know? Fran Tarkenton 13. Again, I've seen old Tarkenton footage, and it's not absurd to make the claim that Tarkenton should be this high. But I've never really bought it enough. Bart Starr at 14. That's, again, more out of respect. I feel like a lot of these are out of respect. As a Steeler fan, like, if... I saw this list because I know who's after 15, and 16th is going to be Big Ben. When you really think about it, Terry Bradshaw and Big Ben are just the same quarterback, just for different eras. They really are. I think Big Ben is more talented, but when you consider both QBs and you consider the defenses that they had that they won with, and then kind of the wide receivers they were, like, remember, you were talking about Swan and Stallworth for Bradshaw, and then Big Ben had, like, Antonio Brown, Hines Ward, Antonio Holmes. I would still, and this is, again, I would still take Big Ben, and the reason why is because I think if Big Ben, I mean, obviously eras and all that matters, but if we're being completely honest, Ben Roethlisberger, 100%, is just better. Like, the only reason Big Ben didn't win as many Super Bowls as Bradshaw is because the competition is so much wider. Like, he wasn't the dynasty. Bradshaw just happened to be the dynasty. Big Ben was still able to win 2 Super Bowls despite the fact that there was an active dynasty at the time in the New England Patriots. So, whatever. But I know a lot of old head Steelers fans will still insist that Bradshaw's better. And I'll tell them they're wrong. Though I do agree 100%, Big Ben should be higher than Eli and should be higher than Phillip Rivers. Anybody who wants to argue the 2004 draft class, get out. Like, it's just not, it's not close. You can try to argue it, it's just never close. All right, I gotta speed through these a little bit faster. Rodgers, Staubach. They have actually, that makes sense. Staubach being the best Dallas Cowboys quarterback makes sense. I would take him over Aikman. Warner. That also seems, I don't know, that almost seems, is that correct? Like, again, this is what I'm talking about. Kurt Warner was great, but Kurt Warner was great for a short period of time, right? So, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's Hall of Famer 100%, but I mean, gosh, that's so hard. Like, yes, he was incredible, but for such a brief, fleeting moment. Like, I thought his lowest ranking would have been lower. His lowest ranking comes out at 25. I would have thought it would have been, like, 30-something. Because, I mean, again, you're asking, the change in which how long something lasts in the league is pretty wild. 19 was Troy. I remember that. I think 20 is Stafford. That's awesome, by the way. Can I say that? Matthew Stafford being 20 is awesome. Because being a top 20 quarterback of all time. Because now you have a Super Bowl champion. You have an MVP. Yeah, you can talk about not having Pro Bowls. But the reality is, Stafford was just in a terrible situation. And the key number to look at here, that is an insane number. Do you want to know how insane that a number it is? I'm going to go back through the other 19 guys they have ahead of him and tell me who had more. Let's see. Aikman, 20. 20 game-winning drives. Kurt Warner, 11. Roger Staubach, 21. Big Ben, 53. That's a lot. 53. Bradshaw, 23. Starr, 17. Fran Tarkenton, 33. Otto Graham, 10. Unitas, 38. Dan Marino, 47. Steve Young, 16. Drew Brees, 53. Brett Favre, 43. Elway, 40. Rodgers, 37. Mahomes, 24. Peyton Manning, 54. And, of course, Montana, 28. Brady, 58. 50 game-winning drives with, by the way, still probably a couple more seasons that he could play in the league. Like, I think Stafford can play for 2 or 3 more years. He could easily eclipse that number. That's an absurd stat to have. To be at 50 right now and still be playing. Like, he's probably going to pass guys like Big Ben and Peyton. He might. He genuinely could. Now, is part of that because he was on a bad Lions team and needed to do that? Yes. But that's wildly impressive. You got to give credit where credit's due, man. Stafford deserves that 20 role. He deserves that 20 spot. 21 being Warren Moon. I think almost a little bit of disrespect, honestly, but I get why. The win record's not nearly as high, right? Like, he was basically a 500 quarterback. But I would make the case that Moon definitely should be up here. Moon over Kelly when I first saw it was shocking, but when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Warren Moon, I think, overall is just a touch more productive. The interceptions are a little higher, but I do think it is a little shocking, though, that in comparison, and also Moon played longer. Like, it kind of makes sense overall. Fouts being here, you could even make an argument Fouts is better than Kelly, but that's a different discussion. Jay saying Big Ben over Troy, laughable. Okay, nah, and I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. I'm going to tell you right now. Troy Aikman. You have to understand another thing about Big Ben, too. Troy was in large part not the reason his offense was great. Troy's not even the best Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Like, I'm going to say this. I might have bias as a Steelers fan, but I'm going to say this. And again, this is all without not having watched those teams. But I've seen some of the things that Big Ben has done. Troy's never doing that. Not even Staubach is doing some of the stuff that Big Ben does for that matter. Okay? I'm calling it like it is. Okay? What the ability that Big Ben Roethlisberger had, I've seen him win games that shouldn't have even been winnable. When we're talking about a guy who could have a big booming performance like 500 yards out of nowhere, it was Big Ben. Big Ben has, I think, the record for the most 500-yard passing games. That's how it is. And again, it's not like he had again, and when you talk about having the all-time leading rusher with one of the all-time wide receivers alongside him, not to say that Big Ben didn't have talent, but that's going to win you a couple of rings. And additionally, that Herschel Walker trade basically set up the Cowboys for life, or for at least that dynasty. They haven't had that since. I would still say, I personally, I hate to disagree with you, Jay, but I'm taking Big Ben over Troy. I would take Big Ben over Troy Aikman probably 9 times out of 10. I would say 9 times out of 10. That's just me. I'm obviously biased, but I mean, I would say I would also honestly, I'm kind of glazing almost Matt Stafford a little bit. I would argue Matt Stafford's right there with Big Ben. I'd put them on almost a similar tier. That might also be recency bias, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just spitballing. Fouts. Okay, Eli at 24, but I'm gonna say this: Eli at 24 is solely because of those Super Bowls. I know everybody. And listen, I still think he should be a Hall of Famer. I do, but the idea that Eli Manning was able to do what he did, regular season Eli is just a disaster. I mean, there's never he's had 3 decent regular seasons in what was a 16-year career. I mean, did he have some impressive moments? No doubt about that. He did. But the reality is, people act like he wasn't, remember when he was benched for Geno Smith? And I get there was an outcry because it's Eli, benching Eli. Why would you bench Eli for Geno? The issue that came from all of that with him is that, he wasn't playing well. They clearly played. Wouldn't just bench him for no reason. Eli was not playing well. And there was a large stretch after basically 2015 where he just wasn't the same guy. 2015 was his peak year. He peaked in 2015 as a quarterback for 1 season. And that was it. There were a couple other good seasons. Obviously, he had his great Super Bowl runs. But without, even if you remove one of them, Eli falls off from being a top 25 quarterback to barely being cracking top 40. It's a steep drop off. It even shows in his rankings. His lowest ranking, 58. Being as high as 17 is kind of crazy in my opinion. But look, man, it is what it. Jay's saying that's my quarterback. I get it, Jay. I get it that that's your guy. But I can't. I saw him in the regular season. And in fact, there were so many times where it's there's Eli. Who was it? Michael Irvin even made a joke about Eli where he's there's Eli Manning and then there's an Elliott Manning that shows up. Eli wins the game. Elliott wins the game for the other team. And it was so common. I remember watching 2015. It was a couple games. It was that season. Giants were 6-10. They weren't particularly great, but it was one of Eli's statistical best years. They were playing Carolina. Well, actually, the one against Carolina wasn't his fault because Hakeem Nicks fell in the end zone. But there was one awful throw against Sunday Night Football, I think against the 49ers. And it was just this deep shot that was significantly underthrown. And the only reason it wasn't picked off was because it hit the turf. It was for Jaquiski Tart. And I think it was Jaquiski Tart. And he just couldn't come up with it. I don't remember. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I know there was it just came up just short. And I was there's Elliott. So, I mean, listen. He's got his chops, but this is where I'd make the argument Russ should be higher. I'd make the argument, I won't say it definitively, but you could make a case that Russell Wilson could be just ahead of Eli Manning, just based on come on. Especially when you look at statistically, Russell Wilson was clean, man. Look at the regular season winning percentage. Look at the regular season winning percentage. Look at the touchdowns to interception ratio. When you look at completion percentage, you look at every single factor. And rushing yards too. On top of that, you telling me, yeah, I'd make the case for Russ. The only reason is because obviously Russ has struggled lately. No one's going to really make that argument. But anyway, Russ at 25, Sammy Baugh 26. I like how they just have that. Oh yeah, we don't have Sammy Baugh's record. We don't know what this got. We don't know what games this won. But like, that's crazy. That's crazy that's what counted for good back then. Like, can you imagine? You throw more interceptions than touchdowns, but brother, oh man, you him for real. Like, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. Norm Van Brocklin at 27. I mean, again, it was a different era, but this is what I'm talking about. Like, you can't. I know you want to compare eras, but this was nobody was that good back then, guys. Nobody was that great. Norm Van Brocklin and Sammy Baugh were just not them. And if you're trying to pick like, oh man, here's my top list of quarterbacks, you're not putting Sammy Baugh on that list, and you're not putting Norm Van Brocklin on that list. That's just the reality of the situation. Lamar at 28. I'd already say Lamar is better than Norm and better than Sammy Baugh. Like, he's already got more production than I get it. Different eras. Whatever, man. Come on. The one guy is better. One guy is better. I know we want to like respect the old heads, but I can't, dude. I just can't do it. Len Dawson 29, fine. 16 people had Len Dawson. You kidding me? Len Dawson? I mean, Len Dawson's the respect to Len Dawson, but that's crazy. Ken Stabler rounds us out at 30, but like again, like boys. Ken Stabler at 30, Sid Luckman 31, Bears. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Bears. There's a Bears quarterback at 31. Wild stuff. Phillip Rivers 32. Did we really just put Sid Luckman over Phillip Rivers? Why? Why are we doing that? Sid Luckman's not better than Phillip Rivers. Who? Why? Really? We're gonna. I hate that. I mean, maybe I know I grew up with one guy over the other, but are we really gonna do this? Look at this. Look at this. 97th all time. 97th. Do you know who's lowest ranking? 43rd. The inconsistency of this ranking, bro. How you gonna rank somebody 97th all time and then all of a sudden be like, you know what? Borderline top 30. What? Are we losing? We're losing the battle of ideas. I'm sorry. Football, losing the battle of ideas. This is ridiculous. We're losing the battle of thinking. Joe Namath, 33rd. Again, like, this is what I'm talking about. People all of a sudden have this random respect for the old generation. Brother, he threw nearly 50 more interceptions than touchdowns. You want to talk about a different era? Oh, it's dominated by a defense. No! Maybe he just wasn't that incredible. Why do we have this? I don't know, man. It's just ridiculous. It's just, to me, I think it's ridiculous. Personally, it's too much. Bob Greasy, 34. Like, see, Bob Greasy was legitimate. You see this? This is real. That's better than throwing more interceptions than touchdowns. Like, if you throw more interceptions than touchdowns, I'm sorry. How are you going to be in the Hall of Fame? How are you going to be in the Hall of Fame? Doesn't make any sense to me. Bob Greasy, 34. Josh Allen at 35? Wow. I didn't actually expect him to be that high. I thought it would have been like closer to like 42 or something. I don't know. That's I mean, that makes sense. Look at this, but like also all time, really already ranking him top 20. Let's relax. That's a little early. I think because this had to be even before this year. So that's a little early, but respect to Josh. He's right in the middle there too, between the 20 and the 50 at 35. 15 between. I mean, makes sense. I think he'll be much higher, obviously, when it's all said and done. Y.A. Tittle, another. They love these guys, man. They love these guys. I mean, I get it. I understand. It's not. I get it, but like again, like the inconsistency of deciding whether or not this stuff matters. Like, decide it. Make a decision and stick with it, right? Decide that this stuff is important or decide that it's not. It's not hard. It's not like their legacies are changing. That's a big thing to understand. These rankings for guys who are like who've been not been playing for decades. Their legacies aren't changing. So why is it that it's a sudden change and jump from 18th to 36th to 63rd? Like, for who? Most of these guys are done playing. Bobby Lane, I give respect to. Bobby Lane, I respect that there. Sonny, okay. But it's just, the wide disparity is kind of nuts to me. Randall Cunningham just clocking in at 39. I can respect that. He was Lamar, like even there, it says it right there. Lamar and Vic before there was Lamar and Michael Vick. Randall Cunningham was like the first one of those, like the very first mobile quarterback. I respect him for being on this list. Kenny Anderson at 40. Okay. A little bit of ball knowledge there. Kenny Anderson. Actually, I think that's actually probably right for Ken. I would put him ahead of Randall personally, but well, again, I didn't make the list. Definitely top 50. Randall was that dude. Randall had some crazy runs. Like, what was the strawman one where he basically jumps over the guy, hurdles, and he almost looks like a stick bug? That was really cool. I love that run. Ken Anderson, 40. I forgot Matt Ryan's on this list. Forgot Matt Ryan was going to eventually be on this list. Do I think Matt Ryan's better than Kenny Anderson? They're basically the same guy. They both won an MVP. The only difference is that Matt Ryan has higher passing statistics. But honestly, Kenny Anderson and Matt Ryan are very similar. It's just Matt Ryan has higher production. Does that make Matt Ryan better, though? Also, his punt. Oh, yeah, he did have a punt. Well, Randall Cunningham punt. I forgot about that. This one's tough. This one's only just because I'm biased and I like Matt Ryan a lot. But I don't think he's better than Kenny. That being said, I do think they're both Hall of Famers. That's my personal take, that they should be Hall of Famers. 42, Donovan McNabb. What? Really? Donovan McNabb at 42? Am I nuts, or do I think Cam Newton should be higher than him? Am I nuts, or do I think there are better quarterbacks than McNabb? Like, I get it. He was a great Eagle for a long time, but I'm going to be honest, since the Eagles have won their Super Bowls with guys like Jalen Hurts, and I'm not to say that I think Jalen's better than Donovan right now, but it just feels like it undermines a lot of Donovan's influence. Like, maybe that's why. Like, I can understand Donovan's influence getting, kind of undermined because it's within the same century. But, like, nobody, like, Brock Purdy's quarterback play right now is not having an effect on Y.A. Tittle's legacy. You know what I mean? It's just, it's bizarre. McNabb was mediocre. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, it just doesn't. It didn't feel like, not that McNabb was awful, but top 50 is crazy. Yeah, see, they did that. They did that to annoy me. They did that. They put Cam just below him. Cam's better. Cam is way more influential, and this was just had a higher peak. Like, okay, McNabb was consistent and made 6. Bro, McNabb was overrated. Cam was him, dude. Whatever. I mean, yeah, McNabb was fine, but I mean, you talk about like a rushing quarterback. Cam was a rushing quarterback. That's the man. I don't know what we're doing with Cam at 43, though. Bill Sims, 44. You know what bugs me? Jeff Hostetler's on this list. I saw it. He's like in the 90s, but it bugs me that he's on the list because I really don't feel like he should be. Hot take, I just don't feel like he should be. But interesting. I mean, I guess I wouldn't have put Sims in the 40s. I would have put Sims in the 50s, but fine. Steve McNair. Honestly, that sounds about right. It's like, it's fair. McNair went to an early Super Bowl, didn't win it, was still very productive. I'm not against McNair being here. 46, Joe Theismann, a little high in my opinion. Again, feels more like the 50s. Boomer? We're putting Boomer Esiason. I guess the 40 tier is kind of for guys who won MVP and then weren't like crazy. But like, yeah. I think Boomer there, 47 is fine. Look at Cam's awards and Ken Anderson, almost the same. Yeah, because I think they both haven't. Like, Kenny Anderson has an MVP. I mean, honestly, this is kind of this tier though. Like the 40s is guys who like had really high peaks and were overall like fairly consistent for the rest of their careers, right? Like, that's what this is. Like, Ken Anderson you have here. You have Matt Ryan here. You have Cam here. Yeah, why is McNabb here? There's no reason. McNabb shouldn't be here. Like, Sims kind of makes sense. He was a multiple-time Super Bowl champion. McNair makes sense. He's an MVP, right? Theismann, MVP. Boomer, MVP. So what is McNabb doing in the 40s? Nobody. Like, McNabb's only here because he was slightly more consistent over his career. But he never had, like, that high peak. So, like, what are we doing? Daryl LaMonica. Oh, my gosh. I remember this. I mean, I didn't watch him play, but I remember the name. Holy cow, Daryl LaMonica. 3-time AFL champion. Honestly, banger name. I'm okay with him being in the low 40s, even though I kind of disagree with it based off, play. But Roman Gabriel 49. I have to be honest. I do not remember Roman Gabriel. The only player of Asian American descent to be named an NFL MVP. Wow, look at that. You learn something new every day. I do not remember Roman Gabriel, but now I know. Now I have that stored in for ball knowledge. Roman Gabriel. And then rounding up the 50th, Rich Gannon? Get this off my screen, dude. Rich Gannon had like 1 year, no? He was a Pro Bowler other years? Man, get this out of my face. I don't want to look at this. No. Drew Bledsoe. They're on the same I guess you have to put Gannon over him because of the MVP, but we really putting Rich Gannon like that cuz like I don't. Oh, dude. Fine. I'm not going to argue. Bledsoe at 51. Yeah, it's a little high. I think Bledsoe's a little lower for me, but Vic at 52. I'm going to say this to a man. Not a single person in the history of the NFL is ever, purely from a quarterback perspective, is taking Rich Gannon over Michael Vick. I'm sorry. That's not a thing. That's not anything that anybody is doing ever. I'm disappointed. I just am. I'm going to keep going. Flacco. I would take Flacco over Rich Gannon. That's not even a meme. Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. No, I can't with this. George Blanda. I don't think I'd take Blanda over Gannon, but gosh, Blanda even looks high. Blanda in the 50s? Get that out of here. 277. What? You guess he played a long time, 26 seasons. I guess that's fair. I guess if you played 26 seasons, you know what? You get what you want. Fine. I take it back. Andrew Luck. I guess that makes sense. If they had Tannehill on this list, you're not going to not have Luck on here somewhere. I must have missed it while skimming it that he was on here. Bleacher Report BS. That's what I'm saying, dude. What is Gannon? I would take Andrew Luck over Rich Gannon. Like, again, upsetting. So upsetting. And that's a shame, too. Only 6 seasons played. And Luck should. I'm going to be honest. I wish Luck were still playing. I wish Luck were healthy enough. Because I think if Luck stayed healthy, I think he'd still be playing today. And he'd be a Hall of Famer. But it's just not the case. And it makes me so sad. 56, Carson Palmer. Is that honestly, that's probably one of the more perfect rankings. I think Palmer, that's exactly where he should be. Number 1 overall pick, wasn't quite the best. I think Palmer's about where I think this is about where I would put Palmer. They got this one right. Never mind. There is no way you are going to have Carson. No. I'm sorry. No. This is blasphemous. Really? I'm not even a Cowboys. I'm nowhere near a Cowboys fan. I'm a Cowboys hater. To have Palmer over Romo? I mean, I get it. Maybe the expectations were different. But, brother, Palmer won. Like, people talk about Romo never winning playoff games. What did Palmer do? Palmer never won a playoff game with a team that drafted him. There's no way, man. There's no way. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm taking Romo. Romo's resume, I think, is more impressive. But overall, watching Romo play was more impressive. I'm sorry. The best we ever got out of Carson Palmer was that one season with the Cardinals. And then even then in the playoffs, he looked worse than Romo has ever looked in a playoff game. Actually, that's not true. There was one time Romo was really bad against the Eagles. But I don't think that was a playoff game. I think that was like towards the end of the season. But regardless, this is... I don't know. I don't know. I think that's messed up, though. I would put Romo ahead of him. Bob Waterfield, I don't know enough about to really know. Never mind. He didn't even have 100 touchdown passes. Why is he this high? 8 seasons. Okay. What? How? What? Huh? 8? Fine. Whatever. I don't understand anything, I guess. Dak at 59. I've always had this debate whether Dak is better than Romo, and it's definitely close. I think ultimately I'd probably say it's Dak. Like what Dak played. Yeah, I think Dak will end up being better than Romo once it's over. I'd even argue he's better than him now. I gotta argue Dak is better than both Romo and Palmer. But maybe that's a different discussion. But I would argue Dak's better than both of them. Jack Kemp. Okay. Again with this. Like, guys, was playing quarterback really that hard back then? Was it this difficult all the time? Ain't no way. 61, Mark Brunell. Okay, this is travesty. I think Mark Brunell should be higher. I think Mark Brunell is so underrated. Personally. I mean, to make the Jags good. Think about that. To make the Jags good. Like, come on. That's pretty cool. It was like the first... you couldn't even argue. I think he is on this list. Already, like, best Jags quarterback. Come on. John Hadle, also underrated. And you know why he was underrated? Because I think he wore number 21, and that was really cool. To see a quarterback wear 21, I mean, I'm gonna let this slide, but at least, like, this is actual, like, production. But I know he was wearing 21, and that was kind of cool. So I'm gonna give John Hadle a pass there. 69th... Oh, no, 63rd. I thought we were on 69. Never mind. We're on 63. It would have been so funny if Goff was the 69th best, though. Goff. I'm honestly okay with that. I think that's fair. I think that's fair for Goff. Although, I would still say Goff, I think, is better than Palmer. Like, I still don't get... Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I think Goff is better than Palmer. But again, like, maybe it's I don't like Bengals, but I really don't think Palmer, a lot of Palmer's main production that I remember him for was Arizona. I'm sure he produced in Cincinnati for a couple years, but I mean, I don't know. I would still work with Jared Goff. John Brody, 64. I don't know anything about him. Another 49er. How many 49ers QBs do they have that are actually kind of decent? Because obviously you have Montana and Young that are Hall of Famers, but like you got Purdy right now, John Brody, Y.A. Tittle. You got some dudes. Oh my. Am I crazy or do I think this is that's Matt Hasselbeck? I mean, fine, I guess. 65 feels high, no? I mean, I know he was decent on Seattle, but I mean, I would just rank him lower for just, the thing he did versus the Packers. The ridiculous call it in the air. What do you call it? We want the ball. We're going to score. Like, I'd rank him lower for that alone. I guess Hasselbeck 65. There's no way, dude. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That's hilarious. I mean, look, I get it. He's played longer, but dude, Burrow's almost already matched him. And Hasselbeck had 17 seasons. And Burrow's almost caught up in the equivalent of a third of that time. Burrow lower than Hasselbeck's crazy to me. That can't, I mean, fine, but no. Not a chance. Oh my God, just get me through it, Earl Morrow. Okay. Oh my gosh, Jim Plunkett, who's 69? Oh, Jim Hart. Okay, not as funny. I thought it was going to be someone super funny, but it's just not. I mean, maybe that's why they did it, because his last name's Hart and it's 69. I don't know, man. 30? Did I read that? Did I read that right? You had Jim Hart as the 34th best quarterback of all time? Good Lord, man. Dutch Clark. Wow. I'm sorry. Can we look at this? What are we doing? The Portsmouth Spartans? 34th best of all time at any point. Are you out of your minds? Are you in? This is not even a quarterback. This is a running back. Guys, this is not a QB. It's just not. You have more rushing yards than pass yards. Just don't put this man. I'm sorry. Dutch Clark shouldn't be on this list because okay. Whatever. I'm already this list isn't over, and I've already crashed out on about Bleacher Report. Stupid. This is stupid. This is so dumb. How are you going to tell me that Dutch Clark, a guy who had more rushing yards than passing yards, is better all time than Kirk Cousins? Get out of here. Walk out of the room. You don't have. I do not care about eras. I do not care about any of that. This is by far one of the most diabolical things I have ever witnessed. I want to throw up. I want to vomit. Oh my gosh, who else? Who else is Dutch Clark better than? Dave Craig. No. Just no. This entire list is invalid. Vinny! You have Dutch Clark better than Vinny Testaverde! What's Jeff Garcia doing on this list? What's Jeff Garcia doing ahead of Alex Smith? Is Alex Smith even on here? Oh my gosh, bro. We got Jeff Garcia ahead of Jalen Hurts. Fun fact, Jalen Hurts has only one less win than Garcia. Jalen Hurts has played 6 seasons, and Jeff Garcia played 11. How? Are you guys nuts? Like, say what you want about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has appeared in 2 Super Bowls and has won 1. Jeff Garcia is just a 4-time Pro Bowler, which we've already established kind of means nothing at this point. I'm sorry, but that's demonic. That's evil. That's kind of evil, honestly. I don't understand that at all. Jeff Garcia over Jalen Hurts. Okay. Alex Smith should be higher than Jeff Garcia. I don't know what we're talking about here. 1 trillion% should be ahead of him. Just not a question in my mind. Garcia over Carr, really? Really? We wanna go there. No. One's better. It's Carr. Derek Carr is better than... They're not that far apart in terms of passing. Like, Carr is better. Culpepper's better. Ryan Sight, probably better. He has an MVP. I'd take that over whatever Jeff Garcia was throwing out there. Are we serious? Are we, seriously going to have this discussion? I'm not. Jay saying, when I sent you the list, that's the reaction I wanted to walk off. Jeff Garcia made me crash out. My buddy said it's the CFL. I said, did they mention the CFL for Warren Moon? Dude, I don't understand how Garcia is on this list. I can't. Garcia shouldn't be on. You know who really shouldn't be on this list? Dutch Clark. Dutch Clark and Jeff Garcia, what do they do on this list? Brian Sipe. Bernie Kosar. Okay. Honestly, not bad. He had some decent runs in Cleveland. Jim McMahon. I guess that's fair. I think McMahon should have been. I will say McMahon should have been on this list, but he should have been 99, not 81. Ron Jaworski. I mean, I guess we are getting towards the bottom, so it kind of makes sense we're seeing some duds. Frank Ryan. Doug Williams. Okay. Brad Johnson. I don't even... Really? Brad Johnson should be on this list? Okay. I'm not even... Arch... Okay, you know what? I take it back. I was getting attracted to the name, but I'm a little shocked. But, like, here's the thing. You have to understand how bad the Saints were for Archie Manning. That Saints team was atrocious. That Saints team was so bad. Norm Snead. Andy... I'm not even... I mean, I get it. Andy Dalton was painfully mediocre. But he was no Dutch Clark, and he was certainly better than Jeff Garcia. Bleacher Report. Who do they... I mean, I know Bleacher Report's known for producing some of the worst sports content ever, but I never thought it'd be this bad. Don Meredith. Jim Everett, Trent Green, Burt Jones, Justin. I mean, I get it. Herbert's career. Really? Justin Herbert's 23 spots below Dutch Clark, the guy who had not even 2,000 yards passing. It's like Bleacher Report thought they're like, oh, I'm so clever, I'm going to appeal to the old heads. No old head's even gonna agree. Like, no old head's gonna come out of the woodworks and say, yeah, that Dutch Clark. No. You need to stop. You need to use your eyeballs. You need to just read. Gary Collins. Gary should probably be down here. That sounds right. F. Hostetler. I guess Jeff can have his spot in the 90s. Oh my gosh. Greg Morton, Mark Rippon, Danny White, and then I believe it ends with Tannehill, right? Yeah, Ryan Tannehill. Okay, let me say a couple things about that list. Number one, that list sucked. That list was bad on a lot of levels. The Jeff Garcia, the Dutch Clark one really gets me the most because, like, what are we doing? That's not a quarterback. Like, you can't honestly look at those numbers and tell me that was a quarterback that they threw in there. They found they may have made him up for all I know. I don't even know if that guy's real. Dutch Clark is high just for his name alone. I'm glad we agreed the list. The list is horrible. It's Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report, the list is bad, right? I'm trying to think. I'll say this. There are definitely quarterbacks not on this list that should be on this list. Like, I think should be top 99. And, like, dude, oh my gosh, that list was something else. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. That list was painfully awful. I mean, that list was... You know who I'm surprised wasn't on that list? Honestly, Carson Wentz. I would have thought Carson Wentz would have made it into, like, the late 90s. Just because he had that one year where he probably should have won MVP. Well, I guess he didn't technically win the MVP, so it's probably why he wasn't. But that was... I mean, goodness gracious. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. That was something else, and I did not particularly enjoy that. Overall, I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going through it, but I mean, that's journalism now. Foles too. I'm surprised Foles wasn't on there either. I think with, like, if you're gonna put Hostetler on there, I'm surprised they didn't put Nick Foles on there. I don't know. It is what it is. All right, we still got a couple headlines to get into. I'm gonna breeze through these. I'm gonna try to, like, quickly. Actually, I'll take my time with each of them. But that was fun. I enjoyed that. I got to get more Bleacher Report stuff and just react to it being terrible because that was terrible. A couple things I want to get into NFL-wise, trade-wise, trade details. Big trade recently. This was the Browns trading for Titus Howard. Those who don't know, Titus Howard is an offensive tackle for the Houston Texans, and he's mediocre. He's probably below average even. And the Browns trade a 5th-round pick for him because their whole offensive line is going into free agency, and that makes sense, right? They need to try to find somebody to get their offensive line. But here's what I don't understand, okay? And this is really important. What I don't understand at all is not only did they give up a 5th-round pick for a lineman that was worse than 76% of the league in pass blocking and worse than 69% of the league in run blocking, but they also gave him a new contract that effectively pays him an average of $21 million per year. For a guy who's going to turn 30 in May, who had a down year last year and hasn't really been incredible at all. And we're going to pay him roughly $21 million a year. For what? For what logic? Like, it astounds me how this Cleveland Browns team continues business malpractice every single offseason. And I'm not even a fan. Like, listen, I just like people who make good decisions and when good football is played. That's like, are you trying to top the Deshaun Watson deal? Like, are you trying to make a worse contract in the league? How? An average of $21 million last year. He's like averaging $63 million over the next 3 years. For who? For an average offensive tackle. A below average offensive tackle. What? Why? I don't understand it. I don't understand how Cleveland Browns continue to make these decisions. I really don't. I don't know how the Haslams continue to do it. And yet they do it every single offseason. Like, I'm going to say this. Browns fans, you're allowed to change teams, bro. Go ahead. Go ahead and pick a team this offseason. Do it while you can. Because that is straight up business malpractice. That is embarrassing. It is disgusting to give that much money after you just traded for him for an completely average left tackle. The 5th-round pick is one thing. Trading for an average offensive tackle is one thing. Paying him after one of what was a down year? I'd be out. I would be done rooting for that team. I would just be so out of it. Like, even now, watch this. I'm going to pull up NFL contracts, and we're going to just go by position, and we're going to go offensive lineman. And we're going to see what their average salary is. Do they have him? So Titus Howard, average salary is now $22.5 million. He makes more money. He makes the same amount of money, slightly over $500,000 on average, than Jordan Mailata, starting left tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. Because that makes sense, right? That makes sense. Like, this is like money that is reserved for good tackles. You see up there, Slater, Tristan Wirfs, Penei Sewell, Trent Williams, Charles Cross, right? Christian Darrisaw, Lane Johnson, Laramie Tunsil, Tyler Smith, Bernard Raymond, Trey Smith, Andrew Thomas, Jake Matthews, all guys who've either been veterans for a long time or one of the best at their position. And what do we have here? Oh, that's right. Titus Howard's $22.5 million. He had a down year, guys. He wasn't good. He wasn't very good. So why are you giving him a huge contract? It boggles my mind. Cleveland does this all the time. I don't get it. I'll never understand it. And I choose not to understand it because it is exhausting to try. So that was trade number one. The Browns completely being awful as usual. That's kind of normal. The other trade I wanted to get into was David Montgomery, which is actually interesting. David Montgomery trade is actually interesting because it actually was a fairly logical move. The Lions wanted to move off David Montgomery, or not that they necessarily didn't want to, Lions didn't want to move off David Montgomery, but it was sort of discussed that David Montgomery was considering kind of wanting out a little bit. It wasn't like he kind of denied that, but it kind of makes sense. His usage was decreasing over the last couple of seasons as Jahmyr Gibbs started to take over the title role. And he had down carries in 2024 when he had an injury. Then in 2025, he played the full season and still got less carries than last year, despite the fact that he was hurt last year, right? So in 2024, he had like 185 carries. Then he came in this year, only had like 150-something carries. And it's pretty clear they want to continue to give Gibbs more of the workload. So they shop him. They get David Montgomery, which is honestly a nice haul. They got Scruggs, who could be a potential either depth. I think it was Juice Scruggs or Scruggs. I'm not sure how to say it. I'm going to say Juice Scruggs for now. They got Juice Scruggs. They got a 4th rounder, and then they got a 7th rounder, which is honestly pretty good value for a guy that was probably going to get less touches for your overall team and wasn't really the main back going forward. It's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. For Houston, I get it. You need a better run game. I think they were dead. I was reading a little bit about it. Dead last in yards after contact for like rushing the ball, which is not good, right? You need someone to be able to could break tackles, fight for extra yards. David Montgomery can do that. We've seen him do it in Detroit. We've seen him rip off a couple long runs. We've seen him kind of be the bruiser, right? It's like Sonic and Knuckles. He's Knuckles. That's kind of his wheelhouse. So that should, in theory, help the Texans more. They're going to have to do a lot more. They're going to still have to beef up their offensive line, especially after losing a depth piece in Scruggs. But it's a solid move. I think it's a solid move for the Detroit Lions to move off him, and I think it makes logical sense for Houston to go get him. We'll see what David Montgomery does and what will be most likely more of a starting role. Because I don't think, we'll see if they kind of have a tandem with him and Woody Marks, which I think they will kind of do. But I wouldn't doubt if Montgomery just wins the starting job outright, and then Woody is kind of the change-up back. But it'll be interesting. They need that, though. They seriously need that in Houston, because they didn't have it last year. They struggled to have it last year. They were getting no yards after contact. They were getting tackled immediately. The offensive line was a struggle. David Montgomery should at least help them a little. Those were the 2 trades. One I thought made logical sense. One of them was one of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen in my life. So there you go. My thoughts on those 2 little small little things that I saw. And then finally, tonight, he's actually playing right now. Giannis Antetokounmpo makes his return to the NBA. I might need to fix that. Giannis makes his return to the NBA tonight. And I have my thoughts, right? Because right now, what? Milwaukee is the 11 seed, right? Milwaukee sits as the 11 seed in the East. They face off against Boston. Right now, they're actually trailing 24-19 with about a minute and a half to go at the end of the first. What I don't get, and I understand Giannis wanted to come back and play. Obviously, he cares about basketball. That it is not lost on me. What I don't understand is this weird dynamic that's going on in Milwaukee, right? We thought maybe he'd get dealt at the deadline. No one was able to make an offer. It didn't happen. And it's becoming more apparent to pretty much everybody, Giannis is not going to force his way out of Milwaukee. It's just not going to happen. If Milwaukee moves Giannis, it's because the Bucks decided to do it, not because Giannis demanded a trade, right? And it's at this point, the Bucks clearly don't have a plan, right? But Giannis is not going to be the instigator to try to force a trade. Because if the Bucks had a plan, what they would have done is they would have probably traded him at the deadline to then get a bunch of picks, basically tank the rest of the season and increase their draft lottery odds. Now, obviously, I don't like tanking, but if you're looking at it from the Bucks' perspective, that would have been the best play. Instead, they don't do that. They don't trade him. They reactivate him for tonight against the Celtics to try to, push for maybe like a 10 seed into the play-in. Okay? So do you want to move him or not? Right? I think it's very clear and obvious that at some point the Bucks need to step up and make it understood, okay, we need to lead the song and dance here. We need to lead this tango. We have to look to try to move Giannis. Because Giannis is not going to do the work. He's made it very clear he doesn't want to do the work. He doesn't want to try to instigate a trade here because he's fine in Milwaukee either way. He's just kind of like, I'm chill with it either way. But the Bucks need to be more of aggressors. They need to be going out and asking for deals for Giannis. They have to be shopping him better this offseason, because if not, if Giannis is somehow still on the Bucks at the start of the 2026 to 2027 NBA season, you're probably not getting him moved by the deadline anyway. And if you do get him moved by the deadline, you're going to get him for probably much less than you would have liked if you were able to do it over the offseason. So that needs to be a priority for Milwaukee, and Milwaukee needs to lead that charge saying, yes, we are shopping Giannis. Let's get this done. Because they're wasting their time right now with all this. It's not good. It's not good. It's not helping them at all, I don't think. Regardless, that's where we are with Giannis at this point. We'll see how he does against Boston. I expect him to he should be in game shape. He's gotten 5 weeks of rest to heal up and get back in, and I trust Giannis to know his own body, but at this point, it's very unclear to me what Milwaukee's plan is. So we'll have to see where they go from there. But regardless, that's all I have. I went through those pretty quick because we spent a lot of time on the list. But I thought it was fun. I think I have a lot of stuff there that I can make into reaction shorts. I think that'll be funny. So, but anyway, that was all I got for this evening. Hopefully I can get the main full force version, like the mainstream that I've been streaming right now. So hopefully that works. I'm not sure why I tried shorts today. I don't know if that's better, if that's a better format you guys like. I'm still trying to make it do both. For whatever reason, it's not doing it. I might have to change how I'm streaming off of, say, where I'm streaming off OBS. I might have to potentially drop streaming off Twitch, but we don't really get much viewership there anyway, so I might just go to full YouTube. But we'll see where that goes. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching, if you have, make sure you drop a like, leave a comment, share it, do all that stuff. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and then I'm going to have, I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow for Tuesday. Get to talk a little bit more about, see if any other stuff comes down. And then we'll be getting more, continue to ramp up into the NBA season. See if we find some Bleacher Report NBA stuff that we can get into. But for now, that's all I got. I will see you guys next time. Thank you all for watching this episode of Free Refill. And I hope you all have a good week. I'll see you Tuesday. Later.